Tracy. Thanks for being with us at Insurance Telematics USA 2015. Could I just ask you to actually introduce yourself and give us a brief description of what you do at Ford and how that's affecting the connected car and insurance industry?
Sure. Thank you, Andy. It's really a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to a great day of conferences and information sharing. But I work for Ford Motor Company in Dearborn, Michigan. I work in the Global Product Planning and Strategy Group, specifically responsible for developing connectivity strategies and looking into potential strategic alliances around the connected vehicle space.
Okay, fantastic. So you're going to be speaking at the conference this afternoon. I was going to ask, what is it about the discussion that you're involved in that's so pertinent now?
Yeah, I think clearly there's growth in the mobility sector in terms of the various mobility services like car sharing, ride sharing, car swapping, multimodal transportation, and a lot of that business revolves around telematics and the ability for customers to connect with the mobility services, to know locations of various modes of transportation at any given time. And we in the automotive industry, certainly play a role in implementing hardware that enables the mobility sharing economy. So I'm looking forward to discussing with the group how that economy is growing, the role that insurance carriers will play, as well as OEMs and of course the consumers.
Sure, okay. So we've got a busy 2 days ahead of us. I was just wondering which speakers or which topics are you looking forward to hearing from?
Well, Andy, I think you guys have a really exciting agenda for us for the 2 days, and so there are many interesting topics that I'm looking forward to hearing. But specifically, there's one presentation tomorrow afternoon that talks about the role of automotive OEMs in particular in the UBI space. So of course that's something that's very interesting to me, being here representing Ford Motor Company. There's also a presentation tomorrow afternoon that talks about the strategic implications of UBI beyond pricing. And I expect to hear more about how insurance carriers and OEMs alike can foster better customer relationships through this data and connectivity with the customer.
Okay, fantastic. So you mentioned already that you're going to be speaking around the mobility topic. As you mentioned, we've seen a lot of sort of new modes of mobility come around. And you mentioned there car sharing, ride sharing, carpooling, e-hailing, and all these services seem to be becoming more and more popular. As a business, as Ford going forward in this space, how do you adapt to accommodate this sort of change in the industry?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think Ford is unique in with respect to our view of mobility. We view it as a very central part of our strategy going forward. Ford actually considers itself, in addition to being an automotive company, a mobility company. And our view to the future is looking to provide smart mobility for consumers, not just automobiles, trucks. And so we view mobility as kind of an overall connected ecosystem for consumers. And we're hoping to play a role in allowing consumers to very easily connect across multi-modes of transportation and be able to very efficiently plan out their trips, to take into account various services they might leverage, and to essentially stay connected at all times. And of course, vehicles will play a role in that, but there's also the ongoing connectivity through mobile apps and ease of use of the various services. So we want to try and, again, add value along that value stream, if you will, of connected mobility.
Sure. Now your job title has alliances within it. So I was just going to ask, what are the sort of companies that you're looking to actually create alliances or partnerships along the those lines of mobility?
Yeah. So my job actually has changed a bit recently, Andy. Okay. So I'm not primarily responsible for alliances. I'm more responsible for strategy development, but alliances are kind of a subset within that. And we're looking at potential alliances all along the connected vehicle value stream, from hardware suppliers to telematics service providers. Of course, we've got our wireless network partners. And then there's a whole host of features and services that can be delivered both inside and outside the vehicle that lend themselves to potential partnerships. So we've mapped out the value chain, and we're looking for what elements of that value chain are better served through partnerships.
Okay, fantastic. Now you're a returning attendee. You were here in 2014. So I just wanted to ask, how do you see either the conference or the topics changing or have changed for the sort of past 12 months? How do you see the industry growing or changing in the recent, the last year?
Well, I think last year a lot of the discussion was around whether smartphone connectivity or embedded connectivity were the better solution for UBI.
Certainly.
And there seems to have been some evolution in thought to where speakers are and various experts here are talking more about how smartphone connectivity has some distinct advantages over embedded, and likewise embedded has some advantages as well, but I think I'm seeing a bit more leaning toward the smartphone channel versus embedded because it's more efficient, lower cost, has greater flexibility. But on balance, it's obvious that not all consumers carry smartphones, so there's some pretty big limitations there. But I think the way things are evolving is just a bit more definite in the strategic implications that we're talking about this year versus last year.
Certainly. Okay. And then just finally, we've got a lot going on over the next 2 days. And the automakers are sought after in this space. I think you're among just a small minority of the attendees here at the conference. But what is it that Ford and do you think the automakers would be looking to take away from a conference like this?
Yeah, again, great question. There still is not as much clarity as we would like around the best way to partner with the insurance carriers in this space. And we all know there's lots of data that has value and can be useful in UBI, but exactly what data that is, what's the best way to share the data, where is the real value for OEMs? I mean, we can all clearly see value for customers, but the value for the OEMs and the insurance carriers is not quite as obvious. And I think I'm looking to hear more about, so now we have data, we know we want to share with each other, where do we go from here? So there's a lot of questions, I think, in Ford's mind and other OEMs as well. But we stand ready to collaborate and work with the carriers to figure out the best business model for all parties, all stakeholders.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Tracy, it's been a pleasure having you. I hope you enjoyed the 2 days, and hopefully see you again next year.
Thank you, Andy. Really a pleasure to be here, and nice talking with you again as well.
Cheers, thank you.